Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, what you see before you is an airsoft pistol. It shoots little 6mm BBs. And this one is a copy. I found my Shadow. Not the Shadow I was looking for, but airsoft gun, 6mm spring type. It's a copy of the CZ75, which is very famous 9mm gun that was popular in the 80s and stuff like that. 75, so it was probably made in 1975, I'm guessing, around that. I've got the breakdown of the actual pistol here on a book if you want to go over that. But it's mainly talking about this and why I got it, its uses and stuff. And down here are some of the specs. Length 207 millimeters, weight 500 grams, 6mm magazine capacity 14 rounds, material metal and ABS, energy 0.4 joule, and velocity is 63 meters per second or 207 feet per second. So it's not bad. I'll shoot it later on, but I'm just going to show you. These were from an air pistol 177 caliber, and I think it has more. This what right here is from this gun, this pistol right here. I think it has more to do with the shape of the pellet and everything. This was lead, and it was like semi-wad cutter or wad cutter, and this is a round BB. So I'll put some in here. I'll put this down here, like just in case, they think, oh, he's had a seizure. Here, give him some of this. It probably wouldn't kill me. These are biodegradable and stuff, but you take these little pellets here. It shoots like little ceramic balls, and it's a spring cock gun. So first off, before we get into all of the operating and stuff like that, like this is the safety. It goes up and actually works. It's one of those working kind of safeties where when you put it on, it blocks the trigger action. And then down, you can pull it. It's not loaded right now. The way you can tell if you've had it cocked is it pulls back a little bar back here. Let me see, this is just plastic. But it pulls a little bar back here, and the hammer will be sitting back like that. So that's one kind of like visual indicator. And of course, it's got this orange, high visibility thing on it, which I think is a good thing, because without that, man, somebody could easily think that you had an actual CZ in your hand. It still might not save you, because this could be obscure depending on the, if somebody's pointing something at you, it's got a big hole in it, But anyways, fiber optics sight. These are not, super high visibility. A flat plastic one back here. I just took a little knife and trimmed off a little bit of the sprue or, the plastic from it, but it is, serrated against that. This hammer doesn't really do anything other than, like I said, give you a visual indicator. These here are scalloped on the inside because this is where you can really cock it. Now, cocking this is a little bit different than a regular firearm in that you want to keep it kind of like level, straight up. You pull all the way back, we'll do that. But let me do a magazine release here. It doesn't eject like a normal one would. It's pretty weighty. A lot of the weight comes from this right here. There's something in here that's heavy. It's not a battery or anything. It just gives it some mass. And here are the little BBs. You load them here, and there's a little follower. Back here, you pull back. And you can drop them in. You can get loaders and all this other stuff. This is inexpensive. Like $28 on Amazon. My main purpose for this is what? Nice solid click here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull it back. You hear that click? You just let it go. My problem was I was pulling it back and I was looking at it and everything and easing it forward. The first time I did that, I had a massive feedway jam. Like 3 or 4, they just kept popping up. Whee! 3 or 4 of them started getting up and getting around it, and it didn't go all the way forward. All right, so now you can put this on safe and everything, and we'll continue to discuss this. And now it's an airsoft, all right, and it's 210 feet per second, so it's not as heavy. You have to do that every time you shoot too. So I mean, it goes pow, and you have to pull it back, usually by that slide, like I said. One good way is, like, keep your finger off the trigger. With this hand push forward and this hand pull back. A lot of the dynamics of this applies to gun handling also, so you can learn that. You still have trigger discipline. Even though this is not metal, this is a good feeling trigger. Man, it really does. My finger, to me, it feels like nice, smooth metal on this. I don't know if it is metal or not, but it just feels really nice in here. It says it has some metal parts. Some of the stuff is cosmetic, like the slide release. That's cosmetic. The ambidextrous safety over here, that's cosmetic. It's made in Taiwan, so I mean, this extractor, looking stuff over here, it's cosmetic. The drift adjustable sights, no, not really. I don't know what these set screws are for up here, but it's probably for the mechanism itself rather than the thing. You have a functional rail down here that you could attach a weapon sight, so I mean, this can be good for, I've seen some people in some videos, they do it's mainly flashlight testing, but they have a gun and they're going in and checking areas. It would be good to have something like one of these in that, because if you're reenacting it or showing it for a video, I still don't know if it get you past YouTube censorship and all this other stuff. Just like this, even though this is not a firearm and everything, and I shoot it indoors, I have a pellet trap, that catches this. Now, let me say something about that. I know this is not going to be super powerful and everything, so I have a little calendar set from the wall. Now, I don't recommend you do this, but this is what I did just to see. I was going to aim, it's a piece of paper, and it's just for the month of Happy Halloween, I think is what it says. And I was sitting from my chair, and just for giggles, I shot at it. It bounced off the wall, off the side of the wall, came back, bounced off the wall behind me, and came forward and landed again somewhere around there. So it did kind of like a pool type of thing, went pew, 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 pew. So that's why I said I don't recommend doing that. Not that it would super hurt you. You'd still want to have like some kind of eye protection on and stuff like that, because if one did rebound and hit you, I've got a piece of one broken here from hitting that. Where it is. This is an eyeball. That's not it. We'll get it later. But anyways, it's pretty fun to shoot. I'll talk about the firing of it, when I go to actually shoot it and everything. It makes about the sound of a regular, spring piston gun. You have that kind of like dunk type of sound. Now, as far as the range, it's not going to be very far. And my main purpose for this, besides, just practicing, inexpensive. They're biodegradable pellets. I think they're made out of ceramic or clay or something like that. And so you don't have to worry. You can get plastic ones and everything. These are 20 gram or 0.20 gram or whatever. I don't know. You can get down to 0.12 and up to like 0.3 or higher and stuff like that. The heavier the weight, the more, how it is. It's just like with any other ballistics. You're going to get faster velocities with a lower weight, but it's not going to travel as far. And all I'm trying to do is sting a dog in the butt. Enough to give them a little sting, a little welt. Because I'm going to be close. When these dogs come up, the most I would shoot is one from the balcony down to the sidewalk, which is maybe 15, yards or something like that. Now, I have shot at the tree outside at night, and it bounces off it, and I can hit it, but it goes up a lot. And this one does not have an adjust. It has a hopper, but it's a fixed one. See, hop up, but it's fixed. It's talking to you in French here or anything, but other ones are adjustable. Now the thing is, I don't want to get. I was corresponding with Gizmo and everything. I was talking about this. I don't want to get crazy in this, because you can spend a lot of money on this stuff. You can get all kinds of accessories, you know, the CO2 ones and everything, and electric ones can easily cost you over $100. And I didn't want to do that. I just want something simple, something better than a slingshot. This is debatable whether this is faster than a slingshot, because it takes some effort to pull that slide back, man. That's no joke, man. You're gonna get good at cocking a slide, but I think it's fast enough and it's portable enough. It feels perfect. It feels good in the hand, man. It makes me want to buy a CZ. Now, I've never owned a CZ 75. I owned a CZ 52, and I love that gun. Here it is right here. That's a really high velocity round and everything. And back in the day, that could go through a vest. Oh, that velocity. You know, if it didn't have a plate and all that. But these things, you don't have to worry about that. As far as I don't want to, like the dog. It's the owner's bad behavior to allow them to get out. But still, these dogs are dangerous. And like the last time I saw him, I had my slingshot with him because I saw him coming through. The other dogs here will bark at him and give an alarm, you know, that, hey, something weird's going on. And I stepped out on my balcony and I saw him, and he was again over that same area where he had killed a cat. And the last time that he was through here, so I grabbed my slingshot and I loaded my hand up with a bunch of these little marbles. They're about marble size, and they're a slingshot. You know, you can leave a whelp with something on that, and or welt. Anyways, I ran down there, and the two managers were at one side talking, and I said, "Did that dog come through?" And they go, "Yeah, he's right over there." And I go, "Where?" And they point at him, and he was behind us going towards the mailbox, and a woman had been walking her dog, a little dog. A little bit bigger than a Chihuahua. It's between a Chihuahua and a Terrier, something like that. Some little dog. Anyway, she had to pick it up because she had it on a leash. She had to pick it up because this dog's not on a leash, and it was a Blue Heeler or whatever they call it. His actual name is Blue. And when I was coming up, here's this woman with her dog, and here's the dog actually. He was trying to get at he was sniffing and trying to get at the dog that she was carrying. And my shot wasn't good because if I missed, I was going to hit her I was going to hit her in the butt most likely. So I was trying to flank him, and I got over here, and he noticed me, and he turned around and he barked at me. And I had the slingshot already cocked and pulled back, and he started running. I shot him in the butt. I got him good. And by the time I could get another, ball out, marble out, and into the thing and cock, he was already out of the compound hauling butt. He had gone that way and hauling butt running. And that's the main thing I want to do. I don't necessarily want to kill him. I just want to stop him. I want him to associate coming here with pain. And yeah, a CO2 one would be faster. I could go pap, 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 and get 2 or 3 shots. But, like I said, I don't want to spend that much money. And this guy, he ran pretty fast. All these are going to be running shots. The first one, as it was a running shot with a slingshot. But I got a lot of experience with the slingshot from as a kid. Some of that still applies as an adult. But I like this better. Again, you've got to be careful with this. Not so much about the ballistics or anything, but that it can be mistaken for an actual firearm. And that's why I'm not going to paint this black or cover this up, because I don't want to necessarily fool someone. when I'm using it or get reported on. I'm prepared to handle that, you know, but you never know. Trigger happy cops. It could be the last thing. More than one person has been blasted for having a fake gun, and it's understandable because this feels, like I said, it looks and feels and balances like a gun. And if you wouldn't, some of them are making them with orange triggers and orange grips down here, you know, so that when you look at them, you can just tell orange against something else, you know, that it's possibly fake. But still, they're gonna treat it as a real gun. The police around here, if they see it, and it's just pest control, really. That's all it is. It's just keeping them away from things, but not necessarily harming them. So, with all that said, I'll get another video out where I actually cover, you know, I'll probably read this one because it's a couple of pages long here when it gets into it. And I'll blabber like I normally do. But so far, from shooting this thing, after I learned how to cock it and everything, I haven't had an issue. Like I said, I don't overfill this. I'm used to looking back here for a round count, and it's actually in the front. I don't overfill it. You can go down here and lock it in, you know, and put a lot more pellets and everything, but I don't overfill it. I usually just go at most down to here, and that's just because that's enough for me. You know, I mean, when you shoot this, and like I said, it's got a nice positive click to it when it goes in. Seats well. Nothing rattles. You know, when you're holding it and everything. You can leave it cocked like this. The only thing is the springs under tension. I don't think that's gonna make a big. Like I said, it's not much. This wipes off pretty easy. The safety, it just comes off really easy. Putting it on, you just got to remember the leverage is back here. It's a little different, so you lever up this way. When it's down, you can rest your thumb on it. There's going to be no slide, you know, coming back, so you can practice different funky grips. I've never liked this forward grip, but this is a good mounting area for a flashlight, you know, that has a switch on it. Like I said, you got the little kind of rail up here, you know, little accept real stuff. A very good training thing, I think, you know, to use just to practice. And you don't always need a lot of velocity. You still have to do the same things, maintain your sight alignment, practice, you know, squeezing the trigger rather than jerking it. And you're not going to have a lot of range. This thing will mine tends to fly way up, almost like becomes a frisbee or something. Goes up airborne. But that's all right. I mean, it works. It's fairly accurate. Like I said, from the couch, or from the recliner to the bullet trap. Let me get the bullet trap. It's this thing right here. It's pretty cool. You can mount it to a thing. I've shown it to you before. But as long as you hit it here, it'll tend to stay in. It won't always collect it down in there. There's one of them cracked. You can see it's kind of dust in there. It's ceramic. You can see the little porous, semi-porous. But it's polished. They say, you know, you want to make sure you got no seams and stuff like that, and have these polished BBs. They're not that expensive. You can buy, I don't know, 10,000 of them for like $7 or $19 or something like this. I got 1,000 for like $8. I don't know if that was a good deal or not, but they were polished and everything else. So there you go. That's a little quick review of initial impressions of this thing. Like I said, I'll put up another one when I set the camera up, and I'll do some shooting, but I've run my mouth too long. Maybe I'll add it, if I can just edit really well, I'll add it in and just do a quick shooting in there. But, yeah, I like it. I'm impressed. I've got a little 25 auto, Colt 25 auto one coming in today. It's only like $9. It's only 100 and something, 110 feet per second. Again, it's not so much super velocity, but it's something that you could have in your pocket. And if something comes up that annoys you, you know, like one of those dogs, I might not be packing this because it's like a full-size pistol, you know. Packing this thing around isn't easy, but a little thing like a little pocket pistol, um, you hit him in the butt or you hit him in the nose. I don't necessarily aim for the face on these things because if it does hit an eye, it wouldn't necessarily put it out, but it might do some eye damage. You know, you could bruise an eyeball. And you never know with these things, the velocity or the trajectory. You just have to practice with them to make sure. But you'll see more of this coming up because I've got a mini Uzi one that's coming in the mail. Mainly because it has a cocking thing up there that's easier to cock, you know. And the velocity is about the same as this one, maybe a little bit more. It's fairly reliable. And that should be it for the buying of them. For right now, I don't think I'm going to buy any more spring powered. I mean, that should cover everything I need. I got this one. I got that little Uzi one. Mini Uzi. It's, again, spring powered, so it's not going to go. But you can get full auto ones. You can get full auto BB ones, too. But, again, the velocity goes up. If you start getting up to like 300 and something feet per second or so, and you're using metal, it could definitely do some penetrating damage on something. So I don't want to do that, but I want to sting them. I want them to associate coming over here with not a good thing. Not you can't you go rampage in your own yard or your own neighborhood. Don't come over here at rampage. I'm the protector of the kitties. I'm armed and I'm dangerous. All right. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna fire it one hand. I'm about 7 yards away. I'm lining this up through my eyes, not through the camera. I'm aiming a little low. You hear that tongue? So I was aiming right down here, that distance, and it hit up there. So, I mean, I was doing it one-handed, but this is how my sights were aligned to right down there. Now, two-handed, you know, I could have steadied a little bit more. And there's a tendency a lot of times on these red dots, when they're low on a ramp like that, to aim for that. And that's going to cause you to aim high. If you're aiming down here, I think. Let me see. Yeah, that would make you aim high. When you should be aiming at the top of the front sight. It's hard to see. Usually, what's in focus for your eyes is the front sight, not the rear sight, because that allows you to have more depth of focus. If you're focusing on the rear sight too much, you're going to blur out the front sight and you're going to blur out the target even more. As you can see how the camera's doing it. If we make the camera focus on the front sight, the rear sight's going to be blurry, but the target's still going to be fairly in focus. See that? Anyway, like I said, you can learn a lot of principles from basic shooting with something like that. And see, now that it's been fired, that hammer is forward. And I've already showed cocking it before. It's just plastic. But it's cool. It feels good. You've got a little palm swell right here that you can rest your hand on. Same way on the other side. I think these grips can be removed and replaced. You could trick this thing out a lot if you want. But you can still have a lot of fun without spending a lot of money. And that's the main purpose, I think, of this is fun and practicality. So there you go. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.